You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's America's Best Dance Crew After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's America's Best Dance Crew After Show.
What is happening, guys? I am so excited today, not because of America's Best Dance Crew, because our studio has air conditioning this week, and last week it did not.
Yay!
Yes.
And I don't have to sit next to you with all your sweat
Yes,
dripping
I was
on me.
flicking sweat all over Sarah. But speaking of which, Bing is for doing, and we are doing the ABDC after show, AfterBuzz TV after show for Madonna Week.
Madonna.
And I am Dave Klein. Joining me, as always, the lovely Sarah Mendoza.
Hello, hello, everybody.
And in the booth, but not currently because he's adjusting things, Ronnie Jr. Jr. Maybe we'll see him later.
That sounded weird. He's adjusting.
He's
things
adjusting
right now.
some things, you know. He's getting down there, making sure that he's all ready to go for the show.
He's practicing his Madonna moves back there.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to really hit it off right with Madonna Week. I was excited. There's some good Madonna stuff out. What did you think about the episode?
So great. I thought everybody actually did a really good job. Crews from last week stepped it up. It was really hard to find somebody that I didn't like this week. I don't know if it was the same for you.
Yeah, you know, I agree for the most part. I think that almost every crew stepped it up. I think almost every crew had a much better dance this week. And maybe because they're getting used to the stress of how they have to figure things out for a week to get ready. I'm not sure, but I thought this week was better. Or maybe just Madonna was better to dance to for the music.
Yeah, and they got that big bomb dropped on them today, too. For the first time ever, they actually eliminated two crews, or they were told two of them were going to go home and not just one.
Yeah.
So they kind of got that fire lit underneath them, like, oh, crap, we really need to perform today.
But apparently they only got that bomb dropped on them during the show.
Yeah.
So it was like, already too late, I guess, if you had your choreo.
Right, but, I mean, they performed that much harder, I think, because of that.
So, did you like that decision? I mean, I think the only reason they did it was because they had only one crew eliminated for the first 2 weeks, so they were like, okay, we got to catch up and eliminate two crews.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to see two of them go home. We're still at the point where we want to see more from each one of them and see what everybody brings to the table. So I wasn't ready to say goodbye to two people that we weren't able to see perform more than once.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know what? The more you see them perform, you definitely get a better idea if you like them or not. So that's what makes it difficult. Because this time we only got to see them perform twice instead of 3 times at this point, which makes it hard. But you can see why, because they had trouble fitting all these crews in the one episode.
Yeah, there were so many.
It's like boom, 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 boom. So we also have, you know what I noticed too? They also had the difference where it's only one judge for each crew.
Right.
And I noticed that they were only giving positive feedback. You didn't get a single negative feedback or bit of criticism on any of them.
Yeah, and again, they probably did that for time because there were so many crews they had to go through for the episode. But I was like, I wanted to hear from the other judges too.
I want to hear what might not have been the best. So that's why we'll give you some negative feedback. We're going to bring it out. Right. Let's get to the first crew, Fanny Pack.
Fanny Pack.
So, Sarah, what did you think?
I thought they were good. First of all, props to the guys for working it out in the heels. You know, it's not easy. If you don't wear heels, you wouldn't know. So here they are dancing in heels and pulling off these crazy moves. I liked it for the most part, but for me, the mirror as a prop, what did you think about that? I didn't really think it added to the performance.
That was my exact note. I thought the mirror was just so. They didn't really do anything cool with it or anything like that really like made it like, here's why we have the mirror. And it seemed like they were spinning it to try and make it look like, look, we have this double image. but they weren't doing it in a way that made it obvious to me. It was just like you could just have two people dancing next to each other, and I'd had no idea. I thought it was a lame prop. I have to give, especially the guys, props for dancing in the heels, though. And I thought
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, like you said, I totally agree with you. And I thought that the crawling at the beginning that they did, where half of them were up on the top, and then a bunch of them slid forward and were crawling at the very beginning. I thought that was really cool. But, the mirror thing really kind of threw it off for me. I just thought that since they didn't utilize that prop well, it just kind of made it just lame.
Me too. It was kind of just there, and it was like, what's the point? Why do we even have this thing in there? They're kind of just dragging it along as they're moving across the stage. It didn't provide any like cool illusion.
Right.
Like
it's just like somebody has to just hold it, and that's really all it is. And someone's
they were just
already
checking themselves out in the mirror.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it looked like they were trying to do some double thing where one person was doing a dance and then the other person was doing the opposite side of it, I think, for a moment where they had the mirror flipped in the middle. But since
if they were trying to do that, I didn't get that.
Well,
from
right,
it.
and
it
what
wasn't executed well.
I agree, and what I think it might have been is because I think they were doing some basic choreography during that part, and if they were doing really big moves that made it obvious, that would have been really cool. Where it's like, wow, I can't believe one person is doing it this direction and the other person is doing it that direction or something like that, but it just didn't come across.
Right.
So it didn't work for me.
What did you think about the whacking in that performance? Because that was their signature move that they were trying to incorporate into the dance.
You know what? I wasn't impressed by the whacking either. It didn't come out to me as like, wow, I can totally tell they're whacking. And I've seen some good whacking in my day.
For those of our listeners who don't know what whacking is, can you explain what that is?
So whacking is when you're really loose with your whole body. A lot of it's arm hits where you're just like, I can't really do it very well. I'm not going to say I can do it better than them, but it's your body is very loose and you're hitting very heavy. You're moving your whole body. It looks really big in a way and really loose. And it looks easier than it is. It's really hard to make it look good, but when it does, it does. And I didn't get that from them.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, when they were talking about the whacking session and they had it up on the screen, to me it just sort of looked like they were flailing their arms in different directions. It didn't look.
Well, that's
cool
kind
to
of what
me.
whacking is.
Uh-huh.
But when you do it right, it looks good. And they didn't do it to a point where you're like, wow, that looks really cool. Because good whackers make it look really cool, and they just weren't hitting it to that point.
Is it more about precision or what?
I mean, it's kind of precision, but also the way you do it, you can make it look cooler than they were just doing some very basic, like that almost, like just flailing their arms, as you said. And you can do it in a way if you're precise. And the way you move your body, also with your legs too. It's not just your hands, I mean your arms, but you can make it look really cool.
So we agree, whacking for
Oh yeah, whacking, as they said they didn't want to hit. Let's move on to the next performance, which I'll start out this time talking about, which would be the Electrolytes. And I'm going to say that this was my favorite crew of the night, personally. I thought the reason why I liked them so much is because they did a lot of different styles, and I thought they were constantly incorporating multiple styles into their choreography, and they had flowing choreography that was constantly moving while they were doing tricking at the same time and cool moves. They had like a really cool hat trick that was awesome, which I think you also agree with because you were like, whoa, when we saw it.
That was a way cool illusion that they added to it.
Yeah, a very cool illusion, but all that made sense into the choreography where it didn't take away from the fact that it looked like they were dancing, but they were still hitting tricks. The one thing I will say is that there was a b-boy move there that I wrote down. I made sure I had the right combination. It was a turtle hop to a windmill into a freeze, and you would probably think it looked well. I thought it was really sloppy. It looked very sloppy to me as a b-boy. I'm b-boy Sly, by the way. I forgot to say that at the beginning. I do breakdance, but I thought it was sloppy, and that was the only thing for me that I didn't like. But at the end, they also had a nice shout out to their other guy in their crew, Chris.
Yeah.
Where he had the phone call.
Ashley's boy.
Ashley, who's
she's
not here
tonight.
sadly.
She's actually in Hawaii enjoying her time
Yeah,
there.
we should have probably said that. Ashley is in Hawaii,
Yeah.
and Nicolette could not make it tonight. They should be returning next week.
But that's Ashley's boy.
That's Ashley's boy, and I like that they incorporated that though, because to me that was a lot of swagger to do that when he's like, I'll see everybody next week. That means they're implying we're coming back next week and it's going to happen.
I just like the camaraderie that they're promoting within their group because, yeah, they've got this guy. He's sort of their fallen guy right now because he hurt himself practicing that one before the last episode. But you know, they haven't forgot about him. They want to make sure he still feels like he's part of the crew, and I think that's really cool and something to be commended with their group.
And you know, he was the one guy that was a crumper in the crew. All the rest of them weren't really crumpers, and so he was still part of helping them with the choreo, showing them how to do crumping properly, which was cool too. And I like that they used him still, which was cool. And something else I forgot to throw out, they also did some finger tutting. I don't know, it's a new style to me, so whenever I see that, I like pointing it out, just because I think it's cool.
I actually didn't notice that in the performance.
It was very subtle. It was just one guy, as they kind of all flowed to him, he did like just like a very basic like minor one with a couple fingers, but it was still there, and it's something that's part of why I thought it was cool, was because it was subtle, but it worked from that subtlety. And something else I liked about them, because it was my favorite crew of the night that I'm going to say, is I thought they brought their own style to the music, where they did have the crumping in it, but they also had their own style, so it identified them as a crew, where they weren't just copying what Madonna did, but they did it and they brought themselves to it.
Right, I agree. They did pretty well.
Right.
They're not my fave like you.
Whatever.
Not my fave yet, at least, but I thought they did a really good job.
Right, well, I'm saying my favorite for the night. They're my favorite of the night.
The crumping, though, that was their signature element, right?
Right, that was their signature element.
Performance, and it was interesting that the one guy who can't perform with them is actually the master within their group of that signature move. So at least he got to step in and kind of help, you know, coach the others for the performance.
Right, I agree, and that's, like I was saying, it's just nice that they were still able to use him, and he did help out, and you know, they threw in some crumping.
Yeah, and so at the end, so he's coming back next week. Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, so I guess he should be healed up next week. So we'll see Chris. Oh, he's the only member whose name I know.
We finally get to see him on stage.
Maybe he did it on purpose so everybody would know who he was.
Right, he staged it.
He staged it on purpose. All right, guys, but let me take a break for just a moment to say that, just so everybody knows, Sarah and I and Nicolette and Ashley do this show for free. And therefore, we appreciate your support in any way possible, whether it be going to iTunes and commenting and rating us, even if it's a 1, whatever, screw you. But just, you know, it's still nice to get that. And we love seeing comments so we can hear from you guys what you think. And the other thing that you could do is go to Amazon.com through our website and buy whatever you were going to buy in the first place. So if you go to AfterBuzzTV.com, click on our Amazon link, just buy whatever the hell it was that you're going to buy at no added charge. It just helps support us because you clicked on the link from our site, which is kind of nice. It's like you're not really doing anything except for clicking a link.
Right. I mean, you're already going to go to Amazon anyways and buy whatever it is you're going to buy. But might as well just come to our website, support us. We love being here for you guys and talking about our favorite TV
Now,
shows.
I don't know if they have headspin beanies, but if they do on Amazon, which I doubt, you should check and you should buy it from that way so you can learn how to b-boy.
They probably have ABDC swag somewhere on Amazon.com.
Right.
So for all you ABDC fans, go check it out and buy something through our website.
Right. Definitely do it. So let's go on to the next crew, though, which was Most Wanted Crew, actually using my favorite Madonna song, 4 Minutes. I just want to throw that out there. And they're supposed to do popping as their element. What did you think, Sarah?
I thought it was good. I liked their aviator outfits. I thought that was they were very cute tonight. I'm just gonna put my girly comment in there too. Did you think they were cute?
Oh, they were so cute. That was the first thing I noticed.
What I noticed about
You caught me.
I figured you were drooling during that performance.
You saw that?
Yeah, I felt it. It was dripping on my.
See, you avoided the sweat this week, but got the drool.
I know,
I'm sorry.
It's always something
What's it going to
with
be
you,
next week?
Right? Oh my
I don't
gosh,
know.
I'm not showing up next week if there's going to be something else. Okay, so what I noticed about their performance though was there was a lot of, I don't know what it's called, but I was calling it waved movements.
Yeah, I would
there
just
was
call
a lot of,
waves.
like, domino effect, I guess,
Yeah.
going on, which I always think is visually pretty cool. So that was my favorite element of their performance this week. And JC was talking about how it wasn't just about putting random stunts on the stage for them. It was very obvious that they were being cognizant about what they're choreographing into the song to make it match with that song.
I was going to throw out it was D-Trix.
Oh.
D-Trix there.
D-Trix.
That's okay.
That's what he said?
They
Okay.
look like the exact same person, pretty much. Not really.
Sort of.
You know, I agree with that. I thought what was great about them was that they had this great concept, and I totally agree with a lot of what you were saying, and I love the whole clock effect they were doing the whole time. I thought it was a great way, and this is what D-Trix was talking about there, was he was talking about the fact that they took the element of the song and what they were kind of the song was about, which was the 4 minutes, and they incorporated it into the dance. So it wasn't necessarily about the tricks. The grand concept was this whole clock idea, which was really cool, that you don't really need all the big tricks if you're doing something that's cool and works for the song, which it did. So I liked it a lot in the way they did that. And as you said, I thought they had a lot of cohesion between the crew. I don't know if there's necessarily a name for the waving they were doing. I think I would just call it good choreography. They were just doing a good job with their choreo, and they were making it work, and they were making it flow. So I think that is what I would say about them. So let's move on to 8 Flavas. 8 Flavas. Vogue is what they were dancing to, and they're kind of with Rated Next Generation. They're the 2 kid groups. I thought last time that they were far better than Rated Next Generation. This time, I actually thought Rated Next Generation was better, which I'll talk about when we get to Rated Next Generation. They had a lot of gymnastics in their routine. They had like a back bridge that they went into and did some walking. I liked what they did whipping their hair. That was really fun. And they also had, like, as Little Mama pointed out, some ballet in it, which was the triple pirouette to a split. Pirouette, thank you.
Pirate.
It's a pirate. I like pirates, so, triple pirate. My handwriting is terrible, even though I should know how to say that word.
Yeah, let's blame it on your chicken scratch on your page.
That's what I blame it on, not being able to say that. All the breaking and all the other elements I can say, but when it comes to classical dance, I have no idea. What? Triple pirouette? I guess that's impressive. No, that is impressive.
No, it was really
That's very
cool.
impressive.
And she did it into a split, right?
Yeah, she did it into a split, which was great, which was really cool. For me, I honestly didn't like it very much.
Wow, we're totally on opposite ends because this was actually my favorite of the night.
Really?
Reason being is because these really are essentially little girls, and they pulled it out. To me, I didn't even see them as little girls. They were grown women doing grown choreography. It wasn't like sexual or anything like that, but it's just, to me,
I just wanted it to be sexual, sir. No.
Whoa,
no,
awkward.
Of course not.
No, but so I agree and I disagree in that Next Generation was better than them. I think now they're viable contenders to each other, because last week 8 Flavas, to me, like what you said, was better than Rated Next Generation. But now I think they're both on the same level of performance.
I know, honestly, for me, it was just, I felt like their moves just weren't very sharp, and that's exactly what they were talking about at the beginning, was they had to be sharp and fierce, and it looked kind of loose, and like it wasn't intense at all, and it didn't look like they were really hitting it to me.
I
thought it looked kind of lazy almost.
I thought they hit all their moves, and
I mean, they were hitting their moves, but it didn't look like this sharp hit to me. When I thought it should be sharp, like you're really hitting it. And yeah, they were doing the moves and they were hitting it, but it just didn't have an intensity to it that screamed to me like, look at this, look what I'm hitting. And to me, it just made it kind of flaccid.
Well, I guess we're going to agree to disagree on this one, because I still think that they knocked it out.
No, keep going. I'm glad we're disagreeing. Let's have this argument right here.
No, and I mean, didn't you like that cool hair whip move that they were doing too?
I said I liked the hair. That was the one thing I did like, was the hair. But that's not to me like the actual thing they were saying about being sharp.
This is Madonna week. And of all the groups, I think they really embodied Madonna's aura, her fierce aura, the most.
Yeah.
So that's why I really appreciated what they did with the number.
Okay.
It encapsulated who Madonna was.
All right, I'll take
that.
that.
For those little girls.
I'll take that. Okay, let's go to Rated Next Generation, and how about you start out talking about RNG?
RNG.
Performing to Human Nature.
They were... See, there's been not one group yet that I haven't liked. I really liked them too.
Yeah.
And they rose to the level of, who people are comparing them to, 8 Flavas. What I liked about them is that they used the guy like as, it was sort of that cat and mouse thing throughout the whole performance.
Right.
Which went with the whole Human Nature song. So I like the way that they choreographed it to the music. Yeah,
I think they did a good job with just the elements of the song. And this, again, would go back to what D-Trix was saying before. They really made it work for the song. It was choreographed to the song. I also thought they had some good moves. The one boy in the group did some good gliding in the beginning, and it was smooth. It worked. There's a back handspring. And just it was kind of general hip-hop, I would say, as their style, just general hip-hop choreo. But their moves were sharp. They were on point. And I liked it a lot more than A-Flavas, personally. And to me, it was just because, I mean, it's also their style they were doing is thrashing. I'll throw that out there. But I thought their transitions were better than last week, as JC pointed out. I mean, honestly, I wanted them to get sent home last week. I thought that's how bad their performance was last week. I thought they should have been sent home. And I thought they really brought it and completely stepped it up this week. And again, like for me, when they were hitting their beats, like to me, that was the difference between A-Flavas and Rated Next Generation this week, was that I felt like they were actually hitting it and really making it pop and tight, whereas A-Flavas, it looked really almost girly. And I know it's a group of girls, but it's just like you're doing hip-hop dance. You have to hit those beats hard. And Rated Next Generation is also mostly girls, and they were hitting those hard, and they were making it work for me. For me.
Yeah, well...
You're going to say this was my least favorite of the week. I hated them.
No, I actually thought they were really good. That's why I keep saying that they rose to the level of you know, what 8Flavas did.
I mean, I'm just comparing them because they're the two kid groups. That's the only reason why. And I don't think you should compare them for that reason.
Yeah, but for me, with the whole hitting it hard thing, I'm not like a professional dancer or anything like that. But I think it's just apples and oranges. They have two different styles. For this one, they were more hitting it hard. And then for 8Flavas, it was being about that girlier type performance.
Right, but I guess for me, like that's what they were talking about too. Is you have to be precise and hit it, and like that's kind of what I was looking for in that dance, was like these precise hits where you're really hitting it and making it like me feel like you're hitting these different moves. And it's there's different styles and ways to do it, but I felt like the style that they were trying to do, they weren't hitting. But I mean, that's just kind of what I got from it.
Fair enough.
So let's move on to the final groups that made it, and I'm gonna say I was actually surprised that Step Boys wasn't one of the bottom three. I mean, I was just surprised that they weren't, but I don't know. What did you think of the performance? Were you surprised, like I was, that they weren't?
Yeah, I was surprised that they weren't in the bottom three, because last week, like everybody's been saying, it was more about comedy to them and you know, gimmicks rather than the choreography. And this is a dance competition. So I thought for sure, you know, that they would at least be in the bottom three. This week, they did do choreography throughout their performance, so they at least took that note. But for me, the choreography that they did wasn't so impressive.
Yeah.
I liked them more last week with the gimmicks than this week with the choreography. And I think it's because maybe they aren't so strong on choreography and dancing. Maybe they really are just a performance-type group.
Yeah. What I do want to point out just real quick, their logo is a mustache, for anybody who did or didn't notice, which is kind of funny.
I think that's cool. I like the logo.
I'm not too big on the mustaches, but whatever. It's funny. It is funny. I think it's very funny.
It does make you laugh. I don't know what that guy's name is, but he has the, you know, Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, I'll call it the hipster mustache, because that's kind of what it's become now. And that's their logo, is that hipster mustache. But
I think it's cute.
Okay. Well, now you know. If you want to, Sarah Mendoza, hipster mustache, very cute.
You need one of those.
Or you just have to look like an aviator. One of the two. I'm taking notes.
Or an aviator with a mustache.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I would not date a guy with that mustache. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, it is very funny. I definitely think it's funny. I totally agree. And the whole time they were doing dancing choreo, I don't think for the most part they did almost like a single trick. And they had their comedy thing at the beginning. But the first performance, it was all tricking and there was zero choreography.
Yeah.
This time it was all choreography and zero tricking.
Yeah.
And I thought this performance was much better because they were actually dancing. But I agree with you that all the choreo was very basic. It was a very, very basic choreography. They were all just doing the same thing. And some of it looked good. They had some finger tutting in there that was good. At the beginning, I appreciated that first they were doing some normal dancing and then dropped to a breakbeat and they started doing some b-boying, which I liked and appreciated. But it's still just like
that was the only section that I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But everything else.
But like, I mean, like I'm saying, I think I appreciated that they were doing choreo and they were cohesive and they were dancing this time. But it was all very basic. So I think what D-Trix's note was, at least I think it was D-Trix for this one, it was D-Trix. They really need to learn how to combine the two things, because I don't think the first week was good enough and I don't think this week was good enough. But if they can learn to combine the two, it could be great. and they just have to figure out how to do that so it's not so one-sided towards one direction.
Right. I agree with you on that. But not only combining, for me, they've really got to step up their choreography, because honestly, for this one, this was my bottom pick for at least this week.
Yeah.
And it's just because I was expecting them to come back and show us like, hey, we can do good choreography and do it well too.
Yeah.
But it was so lackluster that.
I think the one thing it did show me that I appreciated was that they can actually dance, which was nice to see, because last time I didn't even know if they could dance. I was like, okay, I see you guys can do tricks, but can you actually even dance?
Yeah.
So at least this time I was like, okay, good, they can dance. Now learn how to make it like utilize the choreo properly and actually get some good choreo in there.
Right.
So at least they can dance. That's what I got out of it. Let's move on to Funkdation. Yeah, I think these are the bottom 3 now, right?
No, Collision's next.
Oh, Collision Crew.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
Collision
I
Crew.
just wrote my note wrong. Yeah, so now we're at the actual bottom 3. And let's just go through the crews and then we can talk about what we thought about it, who lost and won. I liked them a lot. I thought they did a great job overall. They were one of my favorite crews of the night. And they had this Madonna country song, which was really weird, and it was kind of a weird choice for them to get, but they made it work somehow, which was really cool. And I like that they incorporated their own style, but also incorporated the line dancing into it. Like at the very beginning, they had this cool little wave pointing to the center guy who then did a Webster. A Webster is a front flip where you kick one leg out backwards and flip without needing to run or move forward. So it's pretty difficult to do, and it looks very impressive. So I was impressed by that. But then they had their dancing style, and they did it all really well. And then they also incorporated the country line dancing and somehow made it work. What did you think?
I thought that they did very well for being so out of their element, because obviously these guys are not, line dancing, country listening to type people. But, I didn't notice, like, during that performance, I thought that they played it out very well. My favorite part was when, I don't know if you would call it tap dancing, but it seemed like he was tap dancing. They all kind of were in the back, and they looked his direction, and he started doing like a cool tap dance.
Yeah, and they had the tap dance music stuff to it.
That was the coolest part of this performance for me.
Yeah, I like that too. I think the other thing you liked a lot, that it was the cool knee drop.
Yeah,
the knee drop.
I was like, what is that called?
Yeah.
I need to know.
And I don't think there really is no name for that. It is a knee drop, but he just made up his own way to do it. So it was very cool. Props to you, sir, for coming out with a very cool move, because I don't think that was biting at all. But that was very cool. And the bull riding thing at the end was really fun, too. Yeah, but I thought, like you said, the tap dancing thing, even though I don't think he was doing proper tap dancing, but still, it looked and it worked well. And
it went with the whole, like, country dancing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it
dancing.
lined up with it well. And then also the line dancing. So I liked them a lot. I thought they did a great job.
Lined up with the line dancing?
I know.
What's up with our weird play on words tonight?
That was
whacking, lined up with line
lined
dancing.
up with line dancing, whacking. God, it's some whacking, yo.
Oh.
I'm just trying to avoid some of those now.
Please don't do that ever again. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna cry.
But yeah,
over here.
No, but they really put their groove into it. It was line dancing with some groove and some hip hop.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. So it was like a melding of all these different styles.
Let's go on to Funkdation. What did you think of Funkdation?
Oh, I like them. They did the whole cheerleader thing.
Yeah.
And it was very much like a cheerleader performance. That's my only thing against it, maybe, is that it looked too much like cheerleader choreography at some points. But I like the stunts that they were doing and the flips, which I can't do for the life of me. So that's always impressive to see.
Yeah.
What about you?
You know what? I like this crew a lot too. I thought they did a great job. They had some really nice tight hits on their moves. They had some fun finger tutting in there. One of the cool things with the whole cheerleading thing is while the girls were cheerleading, the guy in the center was doing hand hops where he was bringing his legs out and back in, which were some difficult, good hand hops to do. And
is that when you're doing a handstand?
Yeah, it's when you're doing a handstand, you're hopping on your hands, but while he was doing the hops, his legs were kicking in different ways to make it look more like dancing. And I thought he did good with that. It looked good and smooth. I agree with you, though. I think it was almost a little bit too cheerleading looking for me. To look more...
Almost too precise and robotic at some points, like
so
cheerleader moves.
I thought it was good. I wasn't super impressed with it, but I thought it was good overall.
I was impressed, though, by the smoke, the steams coming out of their ears.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
How do they do that? It's like...
I guess they had some device in the stage for them to use. Yeah, that was better than the mirror.
Oh, way better.
What better than mirror
And
prop?
then also the thing on the end, I don't know if you were impressed by this, but the guy ended on his head. He was like
Oh yeah,
upside down.
yeah. He
Like
kind of
the-
did like a slide, I think, a head slide.
Yeah, and he froze in that position. I don't know if someone was holding him. I can't remember.
No, I
now,
think
but
he just did it. He just did the head freeze. Yeah,
thought
it was
it was
good.
cool.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I'm glad you thought it was good because I remember last week when that guy was spinning on his head or something or hopping on his head.
He was
you were
hopping
like,
on his head.
I'm not impressed.
Well, it wasn't that it wasn't good. It was just that I thought I liked the head spin more, and it was like the other guys were blown away by it. I'm like, I've seen that before. That's more of what it is. They were like, I've never seen that. And I guess for me, for my style, I've seen that a lot before, and it's just
Yeah.
something where it's since I've seen some of these moves. If I've seen them and they don't work with the music, it doesn't impress me because I've seen it before. And so it's just to me, it's like, okay, cool, you can do that move, but it didn't
Right.
work with the music to me, so I don't care. So that's kind of how it comes off to me.
Yeah, I can see how people might just use a move like that because it's so quote unquote dangerous.
It's so dope.
Yeah,
That's-
they just kind of throw it in there.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't fit. Yeah, I can see
Right,
that.
and that's kind of what it was to me more for that. It was like, okay, that's cool, but it didn't blow me away because, like, if it was something where there was these beats that were hitting as he was bouncing, great, that's dope, that's awesome, I like it a lot, but, you know, that's more of what it was just like, I'm used to seeing a lot of really crazy, cool moves, so to me, it's like, it's awesome and it's dope if you hit it to a beat and you make it work with the music, otherwise, you're just doing a move and it's not dancing to me.
All right. So for
So
me,
that's
it's
what it was.
mustaches, and for you, girls who can do the headstand on a beat. On a
Yes.
good beat.
All right, let's move on to Erratic, who I thought was much better this week. Actually, okay, so Funkdation was my favorite of last week, and they weren't my favorite this week, but last week I just want to throw out there my favorite, just for future purposes. Erratic, I thought was terrible the first week, and I thought they stepped their game up. They did a lot better, but it was very jazzy. They had a lot of good jazz stuff. It still just didn't blow me away, though. What did you think?
They didn't blow me away, but I must confess, like, jazz is actually one of my favorite forms of dance to watch.
Oh, I love jazz dance.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think jazz dance is great.
So because of that, and just because of that song, it's also one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
It just made, like, I automatically liked it because of that.
Well, it's like I liked it. I thought it was good, and like I said, I thought it was way better than last week. I thought it was a good performance, and it wasn't my least favorite performance of the night at all. I just thought it was good, and it didn't blow me away. That's more of what it was. But yeah, I love jazz dancing too. So don't get me wrong. I think jazz dancing is a great style.
I thought it was, again, very sexy, which seems to be, you know, kind of their niche. And I
Yeah.
know they were trying to move away from that, but hey, they just got dealt this song that is obviously a very sexy song, and they did really well with that. What did you think about the leashes, though? That was kind of
I liked that actually.
Well, I mean, okay, I shouldn't even have asked you. Ronnie will probably agree with you too with the S&M leashes in this performance.
Well, it's not. It's really not more of that to me. I just thought it was creative. That's why I liked it. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's creative and different. That was why I liked it.
It was pretty out there, I think, for me. With
Yeah.
Because what were they doing while they were down there? It wasn't even really like a cool dance move. It was just
I
more
think it was
to
just being a
add to
dog,
the-
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
just crawling.
But
it
I
wasn't that
I guess
cool
for
to
the
me.
music to me, I was like, okay, whatever. I guess it
Yeah.
works with the music. It's Madonna, and that's more of why I liked it. I just thought it was creative. Like I actually said, I think they were the first week, and that was the week you missed. I was actually talking about how I didn't like Erratic because they were so sexual, and I thought it was boring. So like to me, I don't really care if you do sexual stuff. Just make it cool, fun, and something that's not boring. And I thought it was creative, so that's why I liked it.
Okay.
All right, so let's go on to who got dropped out this week. And
Boo.
I wrote down, and I told Sarah before I paused, I was like, we're going to write down our crew and who we think is going to move on. And I wrote down Collision Crew. Who did you write?
I have to confess that it was hard for me to pick one. You
Yeah.
kept asking me to do it, and you were kind of just watching me sit there with my pen.
I didn't
pointing
look at
the
what you
pad.
did. I didn't look
know,
at you.
I wasn't even scribbling because it was hard for me to put down who I wanted to go home.
Yeah. Well, not who you wanted to go home.
Or
To me, it's just who you thought was the best of
who
the
was
three.
the best. Yeah, I couldn't really pick because they were all good for me this week.
Yeah.
Because they stepped it up.
I thought Collision Crew was the best. Funkdation was the second best of them, and then Erratic Crew. Sorry, I just it was way better than last week, but or 2 weeks ago, but I just didn't think it was as good as the other two.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I did Funkdation as the best, and then Collision Erratic both on the same tier second. So I had no third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I agree with the judges. Last week I totally disagreed with them last week and 2 weeks ago, so
Yeah.
it just happens.
So, who went home today?
So today we had Erratic and Funkdation.
Funkdation.
I was really sad to see Funkdation go for me.
I was too, but I was also sad to see Erratic go home because I wanted to see another side of them other than this,
Yeah.
sexy type jazz dancing that they've been doing.
It's like I definitely saw a lot of growth from them this week, for sure. But I guess I feel like the other crews had already stepped it up to a point where not only were they good last week, but they were good this week again or better this week. Although I guess I actually like Funkdation's dance more last week than this week. I thought Funkdation had the best dance of the week last
Same
week.
here.
But they were still good, so I was sad to see them go because I think they definitely have a lot that they could pull out. And I wish they just weren't the part of the bottom three. That's really all it was because
Right.
I really did think Collision won that one, but I thought Funkdation was better than some of the other crews of the night. So.
Right. But at least those two crews really performed well tonight for the sort of last shebang before they had to go.
Yeah, they definitely did. There wasn't one that was bad and it was like, okay, they need to go. So that was good for
the
sure.
judges even said, they represented Mexico, and then Erratic is from where? Canada.
Canada.
Yeah. They represented their countries well
Yeah.
tonight.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a commercial break and then let's get to predictions.
Sure. Let's go.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
You know what? Yeah, time for some predictions. Oh. So
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I was so excited I didn't want to wait for the sound effect because I was so excited about it. I think what we're going to do is talk about kind of who we thought our bottom crew was of the week and then who we think is going to be in the bottom for next week because now we're actually going to have that. So, Sarah, would you like to start?
Sure.
Get
I'll
it
start.
revving, get it going.
Again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, but Step Boys, I'm sorry, guys. You guys are hilarious, but you're in my bottom crew, or you are my bottom crew this week. And it's because, like we said, the choreography was just so lackluster for me.
Yeah.
Even though, yes, you actually did choreography this week. Kudos to you. But just for me, it just didn't wow me at all.
Yeah. I would say that, I guess, overall, Step Boys would probably be my bottom, but just for this week, you're going to hate me, but 8 Flavors was my least favorite of the week. It drove me crazy that they weren't hitting those beats to me, what I thought was tight, and it just, to me, it made the performance kind of boring to watch. But sorry, Sarah.
Which brings me to my most favorite crew this week. It would be 8 Flavors. So, girls, I love you.
Such a butting of heads there.
We should have a dance battle after this, which will...
Okay, let's do that.
go
I'm
down.
fine with doing a dance battle with you.
But you're like this trained b-boy guy, so what am I
It's
getting
all
myself into?
self-taught. B-boying is always self-taught. There's really no classes for B-boying. It's always self-taught.
Hey, but I do some dancing myself. I don't know if I mentioned to you, I'm
You
a
did tell me
Tahitian
that.
dancer.
That's
which
right.
is so different, though, than this kind of
So who's going to be the
dancing.
judge then to see? That's hard when you have two different styles battling.
Yeah. Anyways.
My favorite crew of the night was, as I mentioned earlier, hold on, let me pull out my notes. It was
8 Flavors.
no, it was not 8 Flavors. It was Electrolytes. I thought they were the best crew. I thought that they brought their style. They had tons of different flavors going on left and right, and a lot of good dancing
They were
and
electric
choreo.
to you.
They were totally electric. All right, guys, but that does it for this week. I am Dave Klein, also known as Beat Boy Sly. You can find me on Twitter at the Dave Klein. That's Klein. Or go to my website, www.djk-online.com.
And I'm Sarah Mendoza, and my Twitter handle is at SarahMendoza. Sarah Mendoza.
And Ronnie?
What's up?
I want to know how I contact you.
No one cares about my Twitter, but it is Ronnie Jr.
I care about your Twitter.
At Ronnie Jr. Media, should you want to follow.
I want to follow you.
I'm going to
Do
follow
it.
you.
Follow you.
Your followers.
We're sheep.
From
Followers, sheep.
Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.